You are listening to the Park Flyer Podcast, where we discuss our RC adventures.
Welcome to the Park Flyer Podcast, where we discuss the ups and downs of the new RC Flyer. Join your hosts, Michael and Jay, as they take flight at the park. Now on with the show.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Park Flyer Podcast. I'm Jay from the hills of Texas. And with me as always are my good friends. Hello, guys. Guys. Dang it. Is this thing on? Hello. I said 6 o'clock. Where is everybody? Dang it. Let me check my phone. Stand by. Sorry about that, folks. Stand by for a second. Let me check my phone. Check messages. No. I have no messages from these guys. Where the heck can they be? All right. Let me check my email. No, I don't want to buy a toaster. Hey, here we go. Got something from AZ Mike. Dear Jay and AK Mike, please do the show this week without me. I'm stuck in Korea due to weather. Thanks a lot. Talk to you later when I get back. AZ Mike. Great. Okay, well, I guess I'll call up AK Mike and we can do a show. Wait a minute. What's this? There's another message here. Dear AZ Mike and Jay, having a great time here in Anchorage. Have fun doing the show this week without me. Having a great time. Have fun. See you in 2 weeks. AK Mike. What? Dang it. Man, I'm here all by myself. What the heck? You think these guys would give me they at least sent me an email message. Huh. All right, folks. Gee whiz, what are we going to talk about for an hour? Well, I tell you what, although it hasn't been, we normally don't do this. In fact, I don't think we've actually missed a show in like the 5 years that we've been doing this. So I'm going to call this show our little summer hiatus. Yeah, so we're not exactly missing it. It's more of, a 2-week vacation for these guys since the moons and the stars aligned and they're not here. And I don't think you want to listen to me babbling on for an hour or so. So how about this? I'll kind of wrap the show up real quick here today. And like I said, it's kind of one of those things of circumstance. The stars and the moons aligned, and here I am by myself. So all kidding aside, seriously, like I was saying before, Mike, AZ Mike, yeah, right. There's two Mikes. AZ Mike did write me, and he texted me, and he said that quite literally, he's stuck in Korea due to a typhoon Haishin, and it came up, and he's stuck sitting in a hotel room looking out a window, and he's stuck there for the next 2 or 3 days until he can get out of there. So he's safe, he's fine. Although there's a little bit more to his story, which I'm sure, in the next 2 weeks when he comes back, he can tell you all about, but it, kind of involved weather coming up out of nowhere, a little lightning discharge, something about hitting a plane, turning around back, for an emergency, coming back into Korea, I don't know, something about entering the country without authorization, confusion, stuck at the airport for hours. I'm sure he can go in great detail about it, but as always, it's a great little story. And although it's not RC related, it does pass the time. So that's what's going on with that guy. And like I said, AK Mike, he's back in Anchorage, so he's back in Alaska. Good for him. And the reason he's back there, his daughters, or his adult daughters, are up there. And wouldn't you know, they kind of loosened the chain on the COVID restrictions, and he was able to, fly back up there. He was able to score a ticket and go right back up as the restrictions were lifted. And he's back up there visiting family and stuff. And so he's having a great time. And as always, he's, having a nice little adventure. But his adventure actually ties in with the show, which is very interesting. We happen to have a mutual friend, and his name's Jeff. And Jeff has a little problem. And as you know on the show, we like to help people out with their problems. We're problem solvers, and we like to give. So he called Mike up and said, "Hey, you're coming back to Alaska. You could probably help me out." And Mike was like, "Well, what can I do for you, Jeff? I'll gladly help." And Jeff said, "I got too many planes." And Mike was like, "Yeah, we all have that problem." And he's like, No, you don't understand. I have so many planes, and I'm not sure whether he noticed this or maybe his wife noticed it, but basically he was like, "I got so many planes, I have them in a storage unit, and I'm tired of paying for the storage unit. So I haven't built the planes now, so I'm probably not going to build them later. So while you're up here, why don't you take a couple of planes home with you?" And so that's what Mike's doing. He's up there looking at a few planes, and he may be bringing a few planes back for us here at the show. And he's figuring out how to bring them all the way from Alaska back down here to the lower 48. And so that should be really interesting to see, what planes he brings back, how he got them back on the plane, or stuffed them in his luggage. And as you know, you can only bring something in the overhead bin. So I think a 48-inch box may be a bit much for bringing back on the plane, but we'll see. When he gets back, I'm sure he's gonna have a story or two about how he got the planes back, or what planes or plane he brought back. So that should be pretty interesting. So that'll be fun. So we thank our mutual friend Jeff for the opportunity and for helping us out, because once again, bringing those planes back, that means we have some stuff to build for the show. And once again, it's going to bring up some stuff for you guys, because mostly these planes are, balsa sticks and monocoque. So I think there's very few 5-minute throw together, strict foamy types. So this will be pretty interesting. And a few are a little bit older. So there may be a few glow to electric conversions that we might have to do, or some of the models are a little bit older, right when he might have got them right when they were making the shift from, the basic electric, which was just strict DC motors, to, and plus, DC motors and NiCad batteries. And so we're going to have to convert, those NiCad batteries to LiPo batteries. And then we're going to have to figure out what motor we need to go, brushless motor we need to go with that DC equivalent. So that'll be pretty interesting to figure that out. So I'm looking forward to it. And also, when we come back in 2 weeks, I've been lining up a few guests for us, because I know as our research has shown, our vast research with our listeners has shown us, you guys like it when we have guests on. When we have a guest on, it kind of changes the show up, the dynamics of the show. People like, what those other folks have to say, and, if they work for a company or whether they run and manage another club. So we have a few coming up. I know AZ Mike's been talking to some of the folks out there in Arizona, and I have been talking with some of our other folks, one of which we'll probably have on right away. Is our old favorite, Doug Leroy. And as you know, Doug is the president for the Holly Springs RC Club out there in North Carolina. And he jumped on the crazy train, and he decided to, of all things, buy a 3D printer. And so he went out and bought a 3D printer, and AK Mike and myself have been acting as tech support for the guy to figure out how to put together a printer, which printer you should get, the trials and tribulations he's been having with this thing. So it's really, really interesting to see, what's all been going on with him and how it's been affecting him, and, the things he's learned. And I'm sure from a very beginner's, because basically Doug knew nothing, 3 weeks ago, he knew nothing about 3D printers, and now he got one. And so I'm sure that in this time, he'll be a great source to talk to brand new beginners about the things he's discovered and the things that he's learned and the things that were, most important if he had to do it again. So it might help some of our new users out there if they're thinking about getting a 3D printer, what to look out for. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Let's see. What else is going to be going on? Like I said, I still have a couple of planes I'm working on and building, as you can see, is with the pile in the background. So yeah, for the rest of the year, it looks like we have a few builds and a few guests that we're going to have on, so it's going to be a lot of fun. Off of that, I think my 5 minutes of fame are up. So, although this has been a very short podcast, I'm glad that you came out to watch me. Also, coming up here, don't forget our sponsors. Let me hit them real quick. Don't forget our RCBatteriesUSA.com guys, and also 3 Arrow Ventures, who help sponsor us and keep the show going. And that also reminds me, we're always looking for a new jingle. I think we talked about it last podcast. Hey, be sure to call our number, 830-444-4943. Give us your jingle, or just call us up and tell us what you like about our show, what you don't like about our show. If you have any suggestions for the show, if something happened to you at the flying field, or something's up with your radio, or whatever's happening, hey, give us a call. If you have, once again, even if you had a bad crash, or you had a good day, or you got a model that really impresses you, please give us a call. And, once again, maybe we'll have you on the show, or if you're too shy to be on the show, you give us that topic, and then we'll talk about whatever it is that you need or want to hear about, because, we're here for you. Although we talk to each other all the time anyway, and that's kind of how this podcast started, because we're always talking to each other about RC stuff. We want to hear what interests you as well. So we really appreciate it. Well, like I said, my 5 minutes of fame are up. As always, I'm Jay from the hills of Texas. Get out and fly. Thanks a lot. Have a good day, guys. Bye-bye.
You have been listening to the Park Flyer Podcast. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to your next visit. Please give our show a star rating and review, and feel free to email us your questions, topics, or suggestions to parkflyerpodcast@gmail.com.